I end up traveling a lot, really a lot. And while that can be kind of like tedious at times, one of the things I love is the conversations that happen along the way. And I still remember, like in a recent trip that I had to New York, which was like, I think it was kind of like end of May or so, I had a very interesting exchange with the customs officer of the JFK airport, which is kind of like always a journey when I arrived there with my Brazilian passport. And it went somewhat like this. He gave me the classic, so what brings you here? And I said, work. I come here a lot for work. And then he said, what do you do? And then I said, marketing at Unilever. Uni what? I said, Dove. I work for Dove. In marketing? Yes, marketing. And then he asked something that really surprised me. He asked me, or he said something that surprised me. He said, but why does Dove need marketing? Everyone knows Dove. I even wrote a stats update about it, and people who are friends of me on Facebook can testify to that. I laughed at first, but it was kind of like a nervous laugh, because reality is that I was a little bit afraid of losing my job right there. But you know, as I was heading to the city, I was thinking about it, and you know what? It's not such an odd question to ask, you see? Like, why do we invest so much in advertising when most people already know our brand, and in the case of Dove, buy our products? I thought about it, and the answer to that is actually really simple. Yeah? The ambition that we have is really not just create like basic brand awareness or sell stuff. Yeah? We really want to inspire brand love. You see, at Unilever, we believe in crafting brands for life, on creating brands that have a purpose, yeah? On doing good business while doing something good for people and for the society. Yeah? Dove, for instance, has always been about real beauty and about real women. Yeah? At Dove, we believe that beauty should be a source of confidence and not anxiety. Yeah? Unfortunately, though, our research shows that only 4% of women in the world consider themselves to be beautiful. Yeah? And we do that research across the globe every other year or so. So just picture that for a second. 96% of the women in the planet wake up every morning, look at the mirror, and focus more on their flaws than on their beauty. Yeah? And we have, like, guys, seriously, like a very passionate team of people working on this brand, and we simply cannot accept that. Yeah? We want to change that, and we are crazy enough to believe we can. Yeah? So we decided to give a very simple and inspiring brief to Ogilvy, which is our main advertising agency. The brief was, let's make women feel more beautiful. Sometimes when I say that was the brief, people are disappointed because they think like that would be something more rocket science or like more scientific. But no, it was a very simple brief. Yeah? And we didn't give a budget, and we didn't plan to do any market research whatsoever. We want to do it differently, to act less like advertisers and more like content producers. And we knew, even back then when we gave the brief, that we wanted authenticity to take priority over control. The influx of ideas that we've got was unbelievable, yeah, like I have never seen before. But one that really caught our attention was an idea that came from Ogilvy São Paulo in Brazil, which was called Dove Real Beauty Sketches. It was a simple idea. We want to bring, simple on paper, yeah, to bring in like an FBI-trained sketch artist and show the contrast between how women see themselves and how others see them. I will play a short clip for you.
Hearing people describe themselves, maybe there's something about a feature that they don't really like about themselves. And I can sense that, you know, they're kind of treading lightly on that. This is the sketch that you helped me create, and that's a sketch that somebody described of you.
The second one looks more open, friendly, and happy.
I should be more grateful of my natural beauty. It impacts the choices and the friends that we make, the jobs we apply for. It impacts everything.
So look, this is just like obviously like a short clip of the whole video, yeah? But kid you not, like even when I watch this short clip, it still moves me. In fact, I still remember like when when we had like the first 7-minute rough cut, and we gathered people around in the office to show to the team, there wasn't a dry eye in the house. Yeah, like people were like really touched about what they saw because it's something very personal. So we knew that we had something very powerful, and we were like anxious and excited to share that with the world. So on April 14, we uploaded the video to the Dove YouTube channel in the US. And almost immediately, we saw reactions all across the globe. It started in Australia when a morning show picked it up. Then just after that, a very prominent blogger in Australia wrote about it, and then it caught fire. Yeah, like we were on the Today Show in the US, Huffington Post posted about it twice on the same day. On the first day, Good Morning America, CNN, Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, Mashable. I could go on and spend my whole time just quoting who has shown the thing. Yeah, and as we saw the buzz grow in PR and social media, so did our views. It was amazing to see how engaged people were with the content. Yeah, how they were like sharing with their friends, sharing with their families, sharing with their communities. Some people were writing essays about it. Yeah, till this day, I carry some of these quotes, like I have them on my desk, because when I'm having a bad day, I kind of like look at them to remind me, seriously, of the difference that we can make on people's life. Yeah, even selling a beauty product. Yeah, even selling like a more mundane product. So by the end of the first day, we knew that we had struck like a chord with everyone. By end of day 3, we saw the launch of the first of many parodies. Yeah, the first one is actually the one I like the most. It's a parody that shows like it's a funny outlook on men's self-esteem that aims to prove to guys that they are less beautiful than they think. It's good. We had nothing to do with it, and it's really good, I think. It's my personal opinion. It really resonated with me somehow. And that parody, guys, that first one has more than 3 million views on YouTube. Yeah. There is another parody that has more than 3 million views on YouTube. Last time I counted, there were more than 35 parodies. There were parodies of parodies, which is kind of weird, but they exist. Yeah. And I mean, when you see that type of thing, it's kind of like when you realize that you have created a cultural phenomenon. But we aren't done yet. Yeah. We had built like at Unilever what was like our command center for sketches. Yeah, and we had like all the agencies and the teams gathered together to basically like scale the campaign as much as we could, optimize the assets, and making sure that we are taking the most out of what we're doing. In like 48 hours, we translated the video to 25 different languages and uploaded to more than 40 YouTube channels across the globe. Yeah, that was like really remarkable working together as a team. And we also like baked some paid media so that we could create scale in these new markets as fast as we could. And guess what? It worked. After 2 weeks, we had 75 million views. Yeah, so we launched at mid-April. By end of April, we had 75 million views. And as of today, we have between 170 and 175 million views on this video, which is insane. Yeah, and it really shows how much engagement people had with the asset that we put forward. Yeah, the other thing that I find remarkable is the fact that we reached 4.7 billion global media impressions on this campaign. Yeah, which to me really shows how digital can indeed deliver global scale for you. I could go on and on, guys. I mean, we had the most shared article on Mashable's history. The campaign beat every single record that I can think of. Look, this campaign was never a sure thing, but the risk that we took really paid off. And without the constraints of a 30-second spot, we managed to create a compelling and engaging content. Yeah, I've learned a lot throughout this whole journey. But the 3 things I want to leave with you are, first, everything, as you probably know, starts with great creative. And the key here was that the creative was based on a very powerful and universal human truth that was completely linked to the purpose of the brand. When we developed the film, we made it very authentic. Sometimes people ask me, like, how did you guys make it so authentic? Well, and real, because it was real. We didn't know if it would work. We were ready to trash the whole thing. Yeah, it was really a social experiment. I didn't know if the drawings would be different. I didn't know how women would react. We decided to take the chance and just do it. And because we didn't know, it meant that we were doing something different. Second, we were very committed. Yeah, we just didn't put the video on YouTube and wait for some sort of magic to happen. Since the beginning, we had strategic PR as part of the plan, and as we decided to scale up the campaign globally, we baked some smart paid media behind it. And lastly, we were nimble. Yeah, we made decisions very quickly, especially on our command center, and that helped us ride the wave of interest of the campaign, especially when we were scaling the campaign globally. Look, as a marketer, you always hope that you will know whether you've moved the needle with your campaign and with the things you did or not. In this case, I'm very confident. Probably confident is not the right word. I'm very proud to say that I really believe, and I know, we made women all around the world rethink their own beauty. And that's a moment I'll be proud of the rest of my career. Thank you, guys.